Hi, Shalom. How many lessons can you derive from a children's playground looking at a seesaw? Some of you might not even know what is a seesaw. That's that wooden, where one kid sits on one side, the other kid sits on the other side, and it goes seesaw up and down. Anyway, they tell a story about a truly great person who grew up to be a great spiritual master, but when he was a child, after all, children play in the playground. So he availed himself of the swings and of the monkey bars and ran around and played in the sand. But there was one thing that he never did. He never went on the seesaw. One day his teacher asked him, "Yankala, why don't you go on the seesaw?" And his response was, "The only way I could go on top, to be on top, is when my friend is on the bottom. And I don't want to go on the top when my friend is on the bottom." It's a very profound insight of a child, basically, and it's a lifetime's work to incorporate this. All of us want to grow, but he did not want to be on the heights only through his friend being on the bottom. Okay, so we have a beautiful lesson. The seesaw teaches us that at times when something is on the top, the necessity is something else has to be on the bottom. Now I want you to imagine, instead of the two kids going up and down, imagine two attitudes. One is not now, and the opposite would be now. When now is on top, not now is on the bottom. When not now is on the top, now is on the bottom. So what am I getting at? Well, one of the greatest forms of spiritual growth is using these two terms, not now and now. So when it comes, for example, to do a sin, sometimes it's not easy to say no to a sin, but it's actually much more effective if you say not now. Example, someone irritates you and you've prepared a really good insult, something that will really, put this guy down. There's a good side of you that says you're going to kill the kids, or you're going to really hurt this person's feelings. The bad side of you says he deserves it, let me really show him. And you're torn between what you should do, which is not say anything, and what you want to do is you're so upset with this guy, you really want to make him squirm. And then you could say, hey, not now. I'll give him a piece of my mind, but not now. I'll wait 10 minutes, or I'll wait until the day is over. If you could merely push off for 10 minutes or a half a day that strong feeling of doing something bad, chances are you've conquered the problem. Because at the end of the day, you're too tired, or at the end of the day, you thought it over, and you realize it's just simply not worth it. Many of our sins are impulse sins. So if we would take it out of the realm of evil, for example, and put it more in the realm of vices, let's say you have an issue with weight, you have a specific weakness of eating chocolate mousse or something like that, and you had a healthy meal, and now you want to treat yourself to this unhealthy dessert. So to say no is difficult for you because you know what? It's really good, tastes good, and you're sort of addicted to it. On the other hand, you don't need the calories and you don't need the feeling. So you say, you know what? I'll come back to this, but not now. I'll have my dessert in an hour from now. Between now and an hour, you're going to be on the phone and you're going to go shopping. And guess what? There's a very good chance that you won't feel anymore that same urge, desire, need to eat your chocolate mousse. So not now is really almost a magic way of avoiding falling into the pit of vice, indulgence, or sin. On the other hand, using the word now is very powerful. So if, for example, you saw someone and who's down on his luck, and that triggers a feeling of compassion inside of you, so you'd like to contribute. But then you say, not now, I'll do it later. And then later, you don't have that same feeling anymore. So if you get a chance to do something good, do it now. If your wife asks you, can you help me out with the kids? I mean, right now I want to do homework with Barbie, and Samantha needs a bath. And you say, sure, I'd be happy to do it, but not now. How about in a half hour? Chances are it's not going to work. Because for that 1.5 hour, it's just going to be so stressful and so difficult. So what do you say? Now. You don't use the word not now, because when you say not now, now is postponed. When you say now, not now is pushed off. And you have to be wise enough to realize when one is up, the other one is down, and pick your choices wisely. I got to tell you, for some people, getting out of bed or doing a job, fulfilling a task, if they say not now, it just doesn't happen. Okay. You may think, why not negotiate? Yes, but not now. What's wrong with that? Why does it have to be now? And the answer is sometimes negotiation is not a win-win situation. It's a lose-lose situation. And the best way I could say it to you is through a humorous anecdote. There is a hunter, a big game, and he's out to shoot a lion. And he tracks this lion, and he comes face to face with the lion, and he takes his rifle, and suddenly the lion says to him, "Stop! 1 second. Why can't we work this out?" And the hunter says to the lion, I don't think we could work this out. I have a desire, and the only way for me to do it is if I shoot you. He says, 1 second, please put down the gun for a minute. Let's discuss this as intelligent beings. Tell me what you want, and maybe I could fulfill what you want without you shooting me. So he puts down the gun and he says, Mr. Lion, I have nothing against you personally. It's just that in my circle, walking around with a lion's skin surrounding you is a sign of greatness. So that's what I want, to be surrounded by the lion's skin. And as he's bending down to pick up the rifle, the lion shouts, "Don't do that, I can help you." And without waiting a second, he pounces on the hunter and begins to eat him up. The hunter says to the lion, "Why are you acting so cruel?" He says, "No, I'm doing what you asked me. Your desire was to be surrounded by lion skin. I am actually going to help you recognize that. When I finish eating you, you will be surrounded by the fur of a lion." You can't always negotiate. You can't always have what they call a win-win situation, because by negotiation, you're actually capitulating completely. So let me end with the thought that I'm trying to convey. Many of us understand that we want the Mashiach to come. What will happen when the Messiah comes? Well, we could say what will end will be galut, exile. So imagine if you could be negotiating. You represent exile, which means the lack of the temple. Jews are in the diaspora. We're in exile. And you're confronting the Mashiach, who wants to bring in redemption. And when these come head to head, there's a confrontation. And Mashiach says, there's no room for exile. When I come, every Jew goes back to Israel. Every Jew will be living in Israel. They'll be visiting the temple. They'll be studying Torah. And exile says to Mashiach, 1 second. Tell me what you want. What's your goal? He said, well, my goal is that every Jew should be able to study Torah. Every Jew should be able to do Torah mitzvahs. Every Jew should be healthy. emotionally and physically. Every Jew should be secure, not worried about anti-Semitism. And Gola says, hold it, I can do that for you. I could create 2021 in America. It's a perfect thing. Jews could have their synagogues, they could have the places of study, there is no overt anti-Semitism, there's excellent health care. Who needs you? We could, because when you come, I'm out. Why can't we just compromise? So friends, that's where we are right now. Are we in Galut, or is it already Messianic? Yeah, well, what will happen when the Messiah comes? Everyone studies Torah. Well, we have that available. In fact, we have it available 24/7. Go to the internet, and there are hundreds of sites which will teach Kabbalah, Talmud, Midrash. I mean, it's unheard of, unprecedented. What will happen when Mashiach will come? Well, we'll be able to pray. Okay, well, we have 24/7 shuls open. What will happen when Mashiach will come? Well, we'll have nice houses, we'll be more secure. Well, we have all of that. So has the Mashiach come? No, my friends. We've been eaten up by the lion. We're surrounded by the skin of the lion, but we're not viable. So there are certain things when you ask, when do we want Mashiach to come? Don't say not now. In the meantime, it's okay. Not, I want him to come, but not now. No. When do we want Mashiach to come? Immediately. You see, because negotiating and trying to find benefits of Mashiach in terms of exile is actually part of the exile. Or as some great mystics have said, it's one thing to sit in darkness and feel the lack of light. But it's tragic when you sit in darkness and you don't even realize it. So remember the word. We want Mashiach now. Shalom.